Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Part of the Pride and Aston Villa Women podcast. What a weekend it's been, full of fantastic Women's FA Cup football. And luckily, Aston Villa versus Bristol Rovers was definitely the highlight, in our opinion, anyway. As always, we've got a wonderful panel joining us. We've even got Lindsay waiting in the wings. I've just seen her pop up there. But of course, we've got a lovely new face, a very special guest joining us this evening. So, Kaz, welcome to you. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you this evening?
Hello, I'm very good. Thank you for asking me on. I'm privileged to be part of your podcast today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we can't wait to get your perspective on the match because it was such a good build up to it, and of course the aftermath as well. But we'll get into it now. Before we delve into the match itself, we just want to know a bit more about you, about your involvement with Bristol Rovers, because they're quite a relatively new club, aren't they? So when did you become involved with the Gas Girls as your team?
Yeah, so obviously I grew up in Bristol, North Bristol, as everyone knows. We've got two clubs in our city, so we've got Bristol City and Bristol Rovers. So there's always a choice to make for every Bristolian growing up, as same with you and Birmingham, I'm sure. So yeah, I naturally went to the blue side. My mum was a big Bristol Rovers fan. Obviously, we're talking about the men's game here because I was 12 when I fell in love with football, and back then women's football was never really a thing, no visibility, and the only choice we really had was men's football. So I had my dad, who was Bristol City, and my mum, who was Bristol Rovers, so I had a big choice to make, and thankfully I made the right one going with my mum. Not necessarily in terms of success on the pitch, because Bristol Rovers have always been lower than Bristol City, both men and women's sides, but we're working on it. And yeah, never really knew much about the Gas Girls when they were first formed, because I was so young. I think it was like 2000 or something. I didn't like football at all back then. I was really young. But I'm aware of the history in a sense that we were Bristol Rovers women, but then we were then, I think Bristol City then took us on. They became Bristol Academy, and then we kind of lost Bristol Rovers women. So we then were reformed in 2019. So baby club. We haven't been going for very long at all. But the success that the girls have had since 2019 has been incredible. And for me, Bristol Rovers is Bristol Rovers, whether it's men or women, it's one club to me. It's only very recently we've actually been under the main umbrella of the main club. So the men and women are under one umbrella, which is great. And I've been fighting for that for a long time. So initially we were founded by the community trust sector of Bristol Rovers. So it was completely funded by the community trust. The main club had no involvement, and now we are as one. But I'd always treated it that way. Bristol Rovers is Bristol Rovers to me, blue is blue. So yeah, ever since 2019, when the girls formed, I started going to matches, playing at Lotley Sports Centre, obviously a very low standard, but you don't care when it's your club, do you? So yeah, I've always been a big Gas Girls fan since then.
Oh, I love that. And it was such a moment, wasn't it? Having the Gas Girls come up, because it's tier 4, isn't it? That the girls are playing in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Emma's got a question about the initial draw. Emma, so I'll hand over to you.
Now you not prepared me, so I don't have the question up.
Oh, you knew this was coming. Come on, we're a professional podcast now. Come on.
Well, I don't do professional. So what were you like initially when you saw the draw and like saw that you'd be like still in the top flight, but we weren't having a great time in that? Really, like we haven't been having a good time in the league. We're bottom of the league. So like what?
Yeah, it was great for us. I think for when you've got a club, and again, I've had it with both men and women's, you're always looking at the top flight when it comes to these draws. So we wanted a WSL club. Ideally, I was looking for one at home because the girls now play at our main stadium, the MEM, every single game now. So I was hoping that we would get a home draw against a WSL club. But yeah, when it came up, Aston Villa, my immediate thought was Rachel Daly, and thinking, wow, like I cannot believe like our part-time left back is going to be like marking Rachel Daly. Like, it was just an insane moment. And I went on social media and I looked at all the gas heads reaction, and everyone was buzzing with it. It's huge, like a massive moment in history for us, massive for the girls. The girls are so lovely as well. Like, they deserve this opportunity, and they've worked their socks off. I mean, for 5 years, everyone at Bristol Rovers Women has worked so hard to get them where they are, and I just felt that it was just the perfect opportunity for them. We knew we weren't going to get anything from it, obviously, but it's all about the occasion. And as you know, for the people that were there or watching it on YouTube, it really was an occasion. It was fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of, because obviously you were there at the weekend. How did the match overall, how did you feel that went compared to expectations? Or was it just a moment of, oh, we get the opportunity to play this WSL club?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole, there was a buzz about it for sure. It's a shame it wasn't at Villa Park, but even having it at Walsall and having it at like a main stadium was good enough for us. But the whole occasion and everyone sort of come in, people that wouldn't normally come to watch the girls came along and really enjoyed it. And yeah, I don't think we expected anything less than a thrashing, to be honest. You could tell the difference between the two sides. Like, Villa, clearly you can see from like how athletic they were. This is their full-time job. But for our girls, a lot of them work part-time in gyms and shops, and like they've only recently started getting paid for playing football. Last season they weren't paid at all. So very new experience for the girls. But again, like, they're having to go to training after work, and it's just a completely different level. And you can compare, like, when we saw like Man City versus Salford in the men's game, like that was 8-0 and that was expected, but the difference between the WSL and Tier 4 is even bigger than that. So although it was a thrashing, we were still so proud that we kept it under double digits, to be honest, because yeah, there was such a big difference. And as you saw, the quality of the two sides, you've got Jordan Nobbs, Rachel Daly, Brazilian internationals, Spanish internationals, like yeah, I mean, we did ourselves proud despite the heavy scoreline, for sure.
Oh, 100%. I think one of the big things that we all kind of said as Villa supporters was, you gave us a good match. Like, at no point did, the girls look defeated or down or out. They were fighting for every single minute. Sophie, because you had a question about kind of like the wholesome moments at the end, didn't you, about that shirt swap and what it meant?
Yeah, about obviously for the girls on at Bristol Rovers, like being able to play alongside people that most of them probably look up to, and being able to swap shirts, and then like the impact that will have on them and what they can then talk about, like when they we saw they'd taken their shirts that they'd swapped into work and things like that, which was really lovely to see afterwards.
Yeah, I think that photo of Rachel Daly and our striker Megan Jarvis is just so iconic now, because like you said, they do look up to these girls, and Meg would have been watching Rachel Daly playing for the Lionesses, and I bet she never dreamed that a few months later she'll be sharing the same pitch with her and then swapping shirts with her. And then Rachel Daly put it on her story and everyone was really excited. Saw the fan base that got a mention as well, so I was taking that as a personal mention from Rachel Daly myself. But yeah, honestly, I was just so pleased for the girls. And Meg has been such a star player all season. Didn't get many chances, obviously, on the day, but she scored a lot of goals. She scored some very crucial goals throughout the season as well. So for her to have that opportunity, that's something she'll never, ever forget. And I think fair play to Rachel Daly as well. She gets swamped. I saw the little kids at the end, like running up to try and get her attention. So the time that she gives, considering the person she now is and how big she is really valuable to those that look up to her.
Yeah, no, it was all over social media. I think all of us were liking and retweeting everything that Bristol Rovers put out that day, because we're just like,
so cute.
This is what it means, isn't it? Like, this is the magic of the FA Cup. Now, I'm just going to bring Lindsay in, because it seems like a good point. Lindsay, you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, perfect, lovely. We won't come to you just yet, Lindsay. I won't throw you in the deep end, because Tracy, who's the head of our fan club, Kaz, now, Tracy was there on the day, and we were talking about the atmosphere, weren't we, Tracy? I know you kind of wanted to ask a bit more about that travelling support.
Yeah. Hi, Kaz.
Hi.
So I was there on the day. I was in E Block, And I have to say that the day kind of evolved from what it was initially started out as. It was like, to begin with, it was like, all of us were, oh, we're going to thrash these, like, we're definitely getting through, we're going to thrash them, like, it might be a bit of a cricket score kind of thing, but, yeah, we're going to get them. And it literally just evolved into something completely different. I was in E Block and there were a group of, I think mainly male supporters to my right, Bristol Rovers male supporters to my right, and then some young girls to my left, in the block to my left.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just phenomenal. The support, the high spirits, even like, when they were 3-0 down, like within eight minutes, was it?
Yeah.
Just constantly Rovers was absolutely amazing, and we just loved it. I mean, there was one point right at the end when you were 9-0 down.
Yeah.
And we were going, we want 10, we want 10. And the Bristol Rovers guys were going, we want one, we want one.
Yeah.
Like, these guys, like, we were just turning to each other and going, these are the best fans that we've ever had.
Oh, really?
At a
That's
home
so
match.
good.
Seriously, absolutely.
Wow.
Everybody said the same thing, absolutely. And for me, at the end of every like match, like we normally like hang around just to say hi to our girls and like, do you know what I mean? And like possibly capture a couple of autographs or whatever. I have to say the only reason why I stayed around at the end of that match was to see the incredible celebrations of your team. It was absolutely amazing, and it was just so fantastic to see. They just lost a match 9-0 down, but the fact that they'd played against a double sale side and reached round 4 in the FA Cup obviously meant so much to them. It was just heartwarming. It was absolutely fantastic, and for me, that's what made the match. It really did. It's not really a question, it's just kind of like a statement, really. I just wanted you to know that, like, it just meant so much to us to have the support like that for another team. There was nothing nasty about your supporters. Everybody was lovely, everybody was in high spirits. We were chatting to them after the game. It was just absolutely wonderful. And yeah, like you says, to see the girls and getting the selfies with Rachel and Gabby Nunes and swapping shirts was absolutely fantastic. Loved it.
That's so lovely to hear. And for us, we loved every moment of it ourselves, despite the scoreline. So I went with my boyfriend and we had a few of our friends there, and like they're boys that have grown up watching men's football and never really considered going to watch women's football before, but they absolutely loved it. I was listening, they did a podcast mainly about the men's game, but they did a segment on this game at the first part of the podcast, and they were just talking about how fun it was, how wholesome it was, how great the fans were, how great the atmosphere was, that we were singing all the way to the end. And I think that is it's quite a nice refreshing break from how toxic the men's game can be sometimes.
Absolutely.
And for us as like or for me, who's a fan of both, and I've been a long-term fan of the men's game, it's different, but different in a nice, wholesome way. And there's no way it would have been that atmosphere if the men had lost 9-0 in the FA Cup, and you just know it. But it doesn't need to be the same, it can be different, and it can be a different experience. And it's so great to have the boys that I do this podcast with buzzing after this match and being a completely different experience to what they're used to, but still loving it and encouraging other people to go. Like, people need to come along and witness it for what it is.
Absolutely,
because it was great, and the songs we were singing, and when Rachel Daly the third time she was caught offside by the linesman, and we were singing "Lino is a gashead, Lino," and we're just having fun with it,
that's exactly it, having fun.
It doesn't need to be, isn't it? But
it was just it was just such a lovely atmosphere. And I'm not just saying it because you're here on the podcast tonight, but for me, your fans were the best that I've seen. in a game. No, seriously, they
Oh,
were.
that's
They were
great. That's
absolutely
great.
amazing. Yeah, they were just absolutely fantastic. The support that they gave your girls was incredible.
Mm.
And the atmosphere that they created for everybody, not just Bristol
Yeah.
Rovers fans, but for everybody, was
Oh,
phenomenal.
I'm
Is
so
the
So
pleased.
sport always
give
like
them a
that?
thank you from me.
I will do. Well, yeah. I mean, it depends on who the opposition is. I think like our league is very women's football, as you know. There's still so much difference between teams, and even in like the same league. So
Yeah.
we've got Bournemouth in our league who are paid full time and are just levels above us and are clearly going to run away with the league, and only one team goes up. So like playing a team like that where you're going to get battered, and it just feels a little bit unfair. Sometimes the spirits aren't as high. But we did play Swindon recently, which isn't too far from Bristol, and they brought a lot of fans. And I think it's the same as what you're saying, Tracy. Like the away fans can sometimes make an atmosphere, and they
Oh,
did exactly
definitely, yeah.
that. So they were getting right behind Swindon. Come on, it was a good competitive game. It finished 1-1. I might finish 2-1 actually. I can't remember. But it was quite a close game. I think 1-1. That we got a last minute equalizer, and again it was just like the atmosphere was so much better because everyone was sort of up for it. So I think it does depend, but with her game too, I'm really trying to work hard to increase the fan base at Bristol Rovers Women, because we know we've done it before with her game too. We've done dedicated fixtures there, and we've got our record is 2,500 and our average is about 300 and something. So we can do it, but I need people to consistently show up because it's great. And it's like what you said, Tracy, it's like come for the atmosphere because you will enjoy it, even if you think it's not your thing. Come along,
Absolutely.
see what you think, because anyone that went to that game on Sunday like would have loved it, would have absolutely loved it. And everyone came out buzzing. So yeah, I'm working on it. But yeah, the atmosphere, it does. Yeah, it depends on the opposition, but it can be brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, because the attendance at the Bescot was 972, and I think you sold out your away allocation, didn't you? What was that?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, which is amazing. Really,
that noise was all you. Like that's insane. That's incredible. Because we get supporters from other teams, even in the WSL, and it's maybe 100 tickets.
Yeah.
It's like some, and again, it depends on. Again, I think the feeling within the club and how easy it is for fans to connect and build that community. And that was one of the big reasons for starting this podcast, because we've only been going since September, really, just to try and bring the community together, because everyone felt so, there was like little groups, but it felt quite isolated for a lot of the time. So it's all about kind of bringing everyone together, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, I'm going to come over to you because you've got one of our final questions of the evening.
Okay, so I know we've talked a lot tonight already about all the positives of the game. So I just wanted to ask you two questions. It's kind of like the same question. The first was, if you had to pick one highlight of the whole event situation kind of thing, from chances on goal, holding your own, positive attitudes of the players, everything. You had to pick one highlight, what would it be? And also, looking forward from the match, what do you think the legacy on the club will be from having that opportunity?
Yeah. So the first question, obviously atmosphere aside, I think there was a moment where we were through on goal, and you probably remember it, and it was a great save from your keeper in the end. But even having that, when we set the expectation bar so low that we didn't even think we'd even get close to having a shot on target, we were all off our seats. Like we were so buzzing that we even had the opportunity to go through on goal. I can't remember exactly how it happened. I think it sort of like it was a bit of a hoof up and bounced over. We got a bit lucky. But yeah, we had that opportunity, and we were all very excited, and it was this real surge from us all, go on, and it was like, wow, we don't normally have this in the women's game. Like, it just goes to show how far the women's games come, that we're getting really excited for this one opportunity. And I would have loved it to go in. It's a shame that your keeper had to save it, but I'm just so grateful we had that opportunity. So that moment, we were all just so buzzing and on a high that we had that excitement and that real burst of energy. So that was great. And in terms of legacy, I think for the girls, that experience alone is going to drive them. For us to even reach that level as a club, obviously it gives us great credibility, great respect as a football club. It's put our name out there, which is great. I saw us featured quite a lot on the Adobe Women's FA Cup socials, and obviously the photo of Meg and Rachel Daly was featured quite a lot. And I think people just knowing about us and knowing who we are, and I don't know how much you know about us before, because obviously we're a small club that's been founded in 2019. We haven't been going very long, so I don't expect anyone to really know much about us, but now people do. And it might, this opportunity we've had might draw more players in next season. Obviously, we've got the backing from the owners at Bristol Rovers, who are now putting money into us, getting a little transfer budget. So, you know, it's an exciting future for us. And my hope is that we can one day reach the WSL, join you up there, because we're on the right track, and opportunities like this only help to accelerate those opportunities to reach the top flight. So yeah, it was huge for us as a club. It was great.
Absolutely, yeah. Because now I think, again, like I said earlier, like all of us now have gone like and followed like all the social media accounts, and like, we really want to keep up with like what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Now. And yeah, you've definitely got some WSL supporters.
I love that. Yeah, it's things like that, exactly.
Yeah, I do have to give a massive shout out to George Hunt though, because her goalkeeping on the night was insane. I think there was six massive saves that she made, and again, just having that opportunity to make those saves and be part of it and have those moments. And she got player of the match as well, I believe, and you know, thoroughly well deserved. And I know a lot of us voted the player of the match as well, which again just shows. But yeah, we're so invested now.
Love that.
So yeah, so finishing up then, what's next for Bristol Rovers women? So it's a league back this weekend?
It is, I believe. What's the date? Oh no, it's not. It's the cup this weekend. It's 19th. Yeah. So we've got Cheltenham in the cup. I think it's the Gloucestershire FA Cup or something. So yeah, not back in the league just yet. Obviously we don't, because it's a small league, don't have many games. So yeah, the league will probably be finishing up in the next couple of months. But yeah, got a big game. Cheltenham are the league above, I believe. So and I've a couple of ex-Rovers players playing for Cheltenham as well, so it might be quite a spicy one.
Okay. So yeah, if everyone's free this weekend, they need to get themselves down, don't they? Bring the noise and support the girls. So yeah, I think that's it from us. So thank you so much. But before you go, we just wanted to have a little chat about her game too. So if you wouldn't mind, just for those people who aren't quite sure what the organization's about, a bit about that, why it was founded and why it's so important.
Yeah, so Her Game 2 is a non-profit organisation that was founded by myself alongside 11 other girls who had simply just had enough of sexism in football. Many of us supported, I should say, because now a lot of us follow the women's game as well, but predominantly the men's game, and found that it was a very hostile environment for a woman to be in, and it had our own experiences of sexism and talking about football, which we believe is just football, regardless of gender. Like we all know the game and how it's played, but we found going on podcasts or talking publicly about the game, we were then subject to sexism, such as, oh, women don't know what they're talking about, get back to the kitchen, all the classics. Many of us played football, like myself. We used to play when I was younger, not any good standard, just to declare. But I used to really enjoy playing, but I found there was a lack of opportunities. Lots of my games were cancelled because the boys needed the pitch, things like that. So we found that over the years, women have had to deal with sexism, whether you're a fan of the men's game, whether you're playing women's football, whether you're a woman working in men's football. There's always been those barriers and those setbacks, but there's never really been that support network. So we wanted to create that support network for women. So that's how Her Game 2 was then born. And we started it by raising awareness of our own experiences. So we did a powerful video on social media, and it was us holding up place cards of abuse that we'd received for being a woman involved in football. So that did really well, better than we expected. And thankfully it gained a lot of traction, and it empowered women to then be able to speak out and say, I've had these experiences. Thank God someone's now doing something about it. So from that moment, we kind of had to progress really quickly. And then we've now built this organization full of amazing volunteers that help run it all across the country. We've got ambassadors for the men's game, ambassadors for the women's game. And we all work together to try and promote inclusion, and eradicate sexism from all areas. So we support women that have been affected. We encourage mainly our men's clubs, because that's where we're needed the most, to make their stadiums a safe space for women to go and support, have robust reporting lines in place, have awareness of Her Game Too, so people know that they can safely report things, but also support their women's teams as well. So like I said earlier, I've been for a long time to get Bristol Rovers women as part of the club. Thankfully, July last year, that finally happened, and our players are now paid. There's like a transfer budget. Like I said, we get the main stadium every single home match. So yeah, we're seeing positive change, and Her Game Too are there to fight for women in all areas of football, to be a voice for women, to make sure women are supported, to make sure that men who run these football clubs understand and are taking action. So that's a brief outline. Obviously, you can check out our website if you want more information. But yeah, we love it, and every part of me breathes Her Game Too. Like, it's my baby, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that it's as successful as it can be, and that women's football continues to grow, female fans continue to grow, and we'll see a more equitable future.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, I know a couple of the ambassadors that work with you as well, and they absolutely love it. Every game they go to, all their socials, and it's such a powerful organisation. So thank you for making it, essentially, because it's so good. Now, Kaz, thank you so much. We know your time is very precious. Thank you for joining us. If people want to find more about yourself or Her Game Too on socials, where can they find you?
So my personal socials, I'm just at Kaz J May on everything. So not hard to find on every single platform. And the same with Her Game Too. We're just at Her Game Too on everything. So yeah, we post regular updates of what we're up to. So feel free to follow along.
Thank you very much. Well, best of luck for the rest of the season. Thank you much for joining us, and hopefully we'll catch up again in the future at some point.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Hopefully
you,
we play
Kaz.
each other again soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay,
so Kaz is phenomenal. We do. I'm so happy she could join us this evening. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Good evening to everyone in the chat as well. I did have to laugh at Nick saying, imagine Man United fans if they were 9-0 down. Because it would. It's just different fan bases, isn't it? That would make all the difference. But yeah, just a phenomenal time. Now, for people still watching, of course, we're not ending the pod here because we've got so much more to talk about. And just, we loved getting that Bristol Rovers perspective. Now, let's go. Who hasn't talked much yet? Sophie, we'll come back to you. This game, leading up to it, when we first got Bristol Rovers in the draw, I know Tracy mentioned a bit earlier, like, there should be, it should be easy on paper, shouldn't it? Did you see it as, right, this could be the time to really, really go for it and get our shooting boots on? What were your thoughts going into it?
Yeah, definitely. I thought this game is one, at least it's not a WSL side, it's not a championship side. Yeah. It's a good game to just have at it, basically. Get everyone's confidence up a bit going into the start of the league. I know when the lineups came out, we were a bit like, it's like we kind of expected more rotation, maybe. But obviously we put out essentially a first, like this sort of squad we'd put out in the WSL every week, which I think with it being the first game back after Christmas, you kind of want to make sure everyone's firing and everyone's playing together.
Yeah.
And then we saw all the rotation in the second half.
Yeah, because Lindsay, what did you feel when that initial lineup came out? Because like Sophie said, it was a bit like, we're playing the seniors tonight. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, because we talked about it in the last pod, didn't we, about who they were going to play. Whether they're going to play the youngsters or the seniors or the established players, or we're going to see some fringe players. And it was nice to see some of the fringe players that are trying to fight for like their shirt and their place in the starting 11. That was really good. But it was a bit disappointing not to see as many of the youngsters that are coming through the ranks. That it would have been nice to see a couple more of them. Obviously, there's something going on, bigger picture that we don't know about. But it was a little bit like, do we really need to play all these? Not to disrespect our position, but like, do we really need to go this hard at them? But it would be an exciting game anyway, and it was a good opportunity for everybody involved. So.
Yeah, because it would have been nice to have like Ruby Ray Tucker get some more minutes. You know, she was on the bench, use her. You know, even if it's the last 10 minutes or so. Because we had a chat, didn't we? I don't know who wants to take this one, who was there. Emma, I'll come to you for this one, because when that lineup came out, there were some massive big names missing, weren't there? So we had Kenza wasn't there, Maz wasn't there, Robbo as well, Kate Robinson, Lucy Staniforth. Now, Missy Ball Kearns and Lucy Parker, we know, are injured. But yeah, you said, was it you that said some of them were actually there in the stands?
I think
Did you see them?
most of them were. I was having this conversation with my dad earlier. I don't think Kenza was, which was interesting. But I'm almost certain I saw Maz. I think most of them were there. I just don't remember seeing Kenza. And if anyone else can help me out and say that they didn't see anyone else.
Robbo was there.
Yeah, I saw Robbo.
Emily's in the chat. Yeah, Emily. Who was there? Who did you see with your eagle eyes? So interesting one. Now, do we think, because obviously under DePau, Kenza just wasn't getting played at all, was she? We are in the middle of the transfer window. Does that, Gary, do you think that's a bit of a red flag, possibly, that maybe she's looking elsewhere? Or do you think maybe just extended break over this time? What do you think?
I'm a bit nervous about some of the players because they weren't being played early in the season. Maz and Kenza are the obvious two. You know, usually they're in contention, and even with injuries, Maz didn't get a chance. And if Kenza was coming on, she was being played out wide in a unnatural position for her. You know, she would always do it if she had to, but she was getting limited minutes and usually not in her possession. So I can understand their frustrations, and it does worry me what could potentially happen here in January, because I believe they're two of the players that are potentially out of contract at the end of the season. You know, we're trying to build their squad, but don't really want to be losing experienced players, talented players that, you know, can only help us grow.
Yeah, and I think especially me and Emily were very, very concerned that we might lose Dree at one point, because she wasn't getting played either, was she? Especially with the new Canadian Northern Super League starting up as well. We heard confirmation today that Quinn has signed for Vancouver Rise, I believe. And so, yeah, so if they are attracting the big names, then, you know, hopefully, you know, Dree stays. We don't want her to go anywhere. But yeah, there's more options out there now, isn't there? There's more clubs coming into it, more opportunities. There's also, just before I forget to talk about it, Freya Gregory, of course, has been recalled from her loan at Southampton. Tracy, what do you reckon with that one? Because she seemed really happy there, didn't she? And there was reports Southampton wanted to keep her. Now, do you think she's been recalled and she'll actually get played, or is it a recall to maybe get sold elsewhere? I don't know if you've got any thoughts.
Not really. It's a mystery. I'm going to do a Toya Wilcox and say it's a mystery. I really don't know.
What a reference.
I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, really. I don't know. I mean, you know, we've got such a great, better squad depth than we had last year.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got a decent amount of players to rotate. Who knows what they're thinking, to be quite honest. I haven't really got any predictions on that one. I mean, it's great to see her coming back. But yeah, got no predictions on that one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because when she actually got playing time, you know, we all really like her as a player, don't we? But again, it's that pecking order of Lindsay, were we talking about it very much? There's a older, you know, our main squad is older, but there's no chance for the youngsters to even attempt to break through, is there? So it's a bit of it's hard, kind of the future of Villa.
It is hard, and it's going back to things that we've discussed before about like us being a bit of a retirement home. But then the other problem we've got is if we've got players that are at the peak of their fitness and peak of their playing career, then are they going to push the youngsters that are coming through to be at that better level. So like the conversation that Alex Scott had with Lucy Bronze are basically like, if you want to take my shirt, you've got to literally play better than me. Then
Yes.
it's setting that bar really high so that we can keep the team moving forward rather than losing, you know, a big group of players and then it being like, wow, we've lost that big crutch and we've got nobody to take their place. We're not going to go backwards. We need to keep moving forward and keep moving forward. So
Yeah.
I think one of our problems as well is that anytime we have any really talented youngsters, they just get snapped up by the bigger clubs. You know, we lost Rab John to United as soon as she turned 18. We lost Hannah Hampton to Chelsea. We lost Laura Blinkeld-Around last year to Man City. So any of our really talented, sort of in that 19 to 21 age bracket, the bigger clubs just go, yep, we'll have them and sit them on our bench for a bit. Thank you. Like,
yeah, we'll give them a couple of minutes here and there, but you know, it's for the badge, isn't it? It's for the brand. You know,
obviously Hannah Hampton's done really well at Chelsea, and it has really, like, she was always a superstar. But now she's pushing Mary Earps for that number one spot in England, and I think Evie Rabjohn's been injured.
Yes,
but both Evie Rabjohn and Laura Blinkeld-Brown were starting consistently for us, and they've never started consistently when they've moved.
No, because Blinkeld-Brown played for City at the weekend, didn't she? But again, that was cup match, wasn't it? So it's getting those minutes in the league where they will be getting that development time, isn't it? And unfortunately, they're not getting that opportunity. Becky said in the chat, good evening to you, Becky. Thank you very much. There's rumours Newcastle are interested in Freya. Purely for my Sunderland side, no. Please, no, don't go there. Absolutely not. Because Newcastle, unfortunately, are throwing a lot of money at the league. Not that it's particularly paying off, but she would get the playing time if it comes down to it. Emily says as well, if she's coming back to stay, we have to play her, not like last season. Although the recall might have been due to, I know you've put Reading. Do we mean Southampton? Southampton situation. Possibly. I know her, if anyone saw her social media post, it was very much like when you do leave like a proper club that you've played for a while. So unfortunately for her, that just hasn't worked out, has it?
I think what Emily's referencing is not the Southampton where she was, but she was at Reading in the 23-24 season, and then they financially
I completely misread.
And I think she had to be. I think reading between the lines, Reading couldn't afford to pay her anymore, so she had to come back to Villa.
Yes, I completely misread that. I do apologise. Yes, so last season, as you rightly said, she was on loan to Reading, but had to come back. So this recall, hopefully, it doesn't sound like it was that situation at all, does it? It's an interesting one. So we will keep everyone up to date with what's going on. Now, Nick in the chat. I don't know if I want to share that on the screen, but everyone, if you want to see what Nick's just said, you can go into the YouTube comments. Now, of course as well, we had the news that Anna Lee has departed the club. Gary, she'll be sorely missed, won't she?
Anna will be sorely missed. You know, last season, whenever she stepped up with Daphne being injured, she very quickly became a fan favourite. We all fought hard to try and talk the club into signing her up on a new contract, and thankfully they did. And then, unfortunately, we didn't get to see her play again with the, once she got the concussion and we lost her. But, it's her priority. We can understand their family priority and where she wants to be. And, it's nothing but well wishes because she really was a fan favourite. And I hope she comes back and visits occasionally. She can bring her mother too.
Yeah, 100%. And just we wish her well. We wish her we send her all of our love for her next steps, because she'll be a massive miss. But again, a lot of people saying, ultimately wherever she goes, maybe deserves that step up to be number one now. She was number two for a very long time, and although she did get probably more playing time than other second goalies, it's maybe time, and maybe she will find a club that she can take that number one spot. quite happily. But yeah, we
She
sent her
deserves it.
all the love. Yeah, she does. She really, really deserves it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It would be nice to see Sophia maybe get a wee bit more game time.
Yes. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
She could be a very good goalkeeper with the right development, and
She made a cracking save. She made a cracking save against I can't remember who it was that had that shot on goal. Bristol Rovers player, obviously, but it was cracking.
Was it
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think that's actually Carlton Time that she was speaking about. Yeah,
Pushed it over the crossbar. Brilliant.
Yeah, that first attempt. Yeah. Because there were two major attempts for Rovers, wasn't there, at the weekend? And you just thought, but again, even that, they were deep into the second half, where most teams, as unfortunately we saw at the weekend, held their WSL championship sides until about 70, 75 minutes, and then it kind of petered off. But they were pushing right till the end of those 90, So yeah, in some sense, I think that goal would have been like the cherry on the top of the cake, wouldn't it? If Rovers had got that one. Obviously, we'll have a clean sheet, but I think I might have made an exception for to get back. Right then. We need to talk about this match because there were so many goals, and we just, they were cracking, weren't they? So, first Villa hat trick for Gabby Nunes. Tracy, what was it like, that feeling being there at the weekend and just having the Villa back that were just constantly scoring and having that kind of that joy back? They looked really happy, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did. They look like a completely different side, and it was wonderful to see all those goals being banged in. Knowing that we're going to win this one, and that's 3 on the bounce. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean, what we were used to last season. So, this run that we're having of winning games is a great feeling. And just hoping we can make it 4 on the bounce on Saturday. But no, it was great. It was lovely. I'll tell you who I was so pleased for. Jill Bayings. I thought, yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great to see her come on. And sometimes when, she's been injured and she's been in recovery since the start of the season, and you would expect her to be, look a little bit nervous and a little bit unsure. She looks great. She looks, for me anyway, she looks like really confident. And then when she knocked the goal in, I was like, yes, go on, Jill. It's really
like
pleased
she's
for her.
been waiting, wasn't it?
Yeah, really pleased for her.
I do feel for her though. This week, everyone's been talking about Viv and Tooney scoring on their first games back from injury. Not a single mention of Jill. And I know she's not played in the league yet, so maybe it's not quite a comeback in the same way. But she seems to have gone completely under the radar of everyone.
Not on the fan club. We mentioned her.
No, we're here. We're shouting her from the rooftops.
Yeah, we
in
mentioned
fact,
her.
I'll clip this up and I'll tag Jill in it so she knows we're talking about it. But yeah, the confidence and just again to get, because she did a lovely little turn, didn't she? Sort of 2 defenders turned and shot, found the back of the net, and you just thought, yeah. I know we haven't signed anyone this window yet, but essentially she is a new player for us, isn't she? That she's now available. Don't fall in love with a loan player, they say. Is it too late already? For most people. Would we want to, and I know it's early, I know we only saw about 20 minutes. Would we like to keep her if it's a possibility? Has anyone got any thoughts? Feelings?
Young, so strong. We looked at our centre midfielders who are starting to age a touch. If we look at the likes of Nobbs and Kenza, I know that obviously we'll have Taylor and Parker can play there, and Bad Missy Bow, but I think Jill would be a real good addition long term.
I have to agree.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Just talking about Miri Taylor there, how many times did that just not go in for her? I was willing that ball to hit the back of the net. Lindsay, what's Miri got to do?
I don't know, because she's been like this the whole time we've had her. Like, no matter what she tries to do, it never goes in. It's like she's cursed or something. And I just want it to go in for us so badly.
Yeah, just that first one, and then maybe the rest will follow. But you know, her play on the pitch, like the balls she wins back. She was on corner duty, wasn't she? Putting some beautiful balls into the box.
Those corners.
Just so good. And you just think
Beautiful.
the only thing missing was that goal, wasn't it?
She already got 2 assists. Obviously, she assisted both the goals of Daly's that were disallowed as well. You know, she was in the middle of the whole game, and it's just, you're just willing that one shot to go in for, because the goal's the only thing that she's missing, and it's not through lack of effort.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And you're just saying she works so hard throughout the match. Like, oh, that goal would have just been perfect. Oh, Danny's in the chat. Danny's saying, yeah, Jill, we need to keep her 100%. I do love the fact that Nick has put, right, I need to go clean a Dalek. Yes, you read that correctly. Right, we love you, Nick. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy cleaning the Dalek. Can't wait to see how that turns out. And also, I need the story behind the Dalek. That's we'll have to get that off her next time we see her. Now,
just a quick one, Freya. Going back to Gabby's hat trick.
Yep.
She also gave up a goal and passed the ball to Rachel at one point, so to give her the opportunity of getting the hat trick as well after she'd scored the 2 goals. Did you notice that? Which I thought was really, really good. Really
good. Yeah, and it shows.
It
shows, because we were a bit, I don't want to say worried. We were slightly concerned when Gabby and Rach first started playing together, because we're like, well, how's this going to work? They're not playing obviously under DePau, and it just wasn't clicking, was it? But the fact that they were playing together, it was working. And like you said, they were able to set shots up for each other and, you know, leave it when they needed to. And so, Tracy, do you think that this is kind of maybe a key turning point?
I think so. Yeah. I think she's settled now, isn't she, Gabby? And she looks a lot more comfortable. She looks more confident. So yeah, I'm hoping that will translate onto the pitch, and it looks as though we're going in that direction from what we've seen. So yeah, hopefully.
And her and Paul,
her love of Paul is just so wholesome.
Yeah, I love that you both said that at the same time. Gabby and Paula's relationship is incredible. It's, again, a lovely wholesome moment. I know we seem to be overusing that word, but just it's a perfect definition for it.
Did you see Paula's post-match interview?
Oh, I love her. Yeah, she needs to have an interview after every match.
She's absolutely crazy. I love her.
How happy she is.
Smiles all the time.
Yeah. More questions.
just more questions. Yes, Paula. Oh, I love it. Yeah, she just, if you're ever feeling sad, everyone listening, watching, just go find a clip of Paula. Just talking about anything.
Did you see that the Villa admin on TikTok did her absolutely dirty of her?
Yes.
Colliding with
about
the
this if people
pitch.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's I think it was quite early on in the game and I think so. Kirsty Hansen has commented on it and basically been like, "That's the last time the poor girl ever wears molds." So I think she must have had different boots on to usual and was just like, they were not good for on the surface, and she just absolutely stacked it into the floor. And the admin had like clipped it up and put a sound over it. I can't remember which one it was, but it was funny.
Don't know, absolutely don't. all of the moments they could have focused on in the match, and they chose that one. But again, it's a step up. You know, we're always saying about social media needs to be more interactive and do those kind of things. So hey, we'll take it. We'll take improvement.
Anybody notice that Gabby's hat trick was what many strikers would call the perfect hat trick? She got one with her left, one with her right, and one with her head.
Perfection.
Didn't notice that.
Yeah, I've watched it back several times. One with her left, one with her right, one with her head.
See, Gary bringing all the facts to the pod. That's why we're helping Gary.
Ex-Villa
It was always one of those things because younger, I played up front as well, so it's kind of like it was always what you wanted. If you're going to get a hat trick, that's
Yeah.
always what you wanted. It's like a personal goal sort of thing. So, yeah, it was nice to see somebody else do it and just be so happy about it.
All of that. And
Funnily
just
enough, this weekend, ex-Villa Chantel Boy-Hawker also got a perfect hat-trick for London City Lionesses against Fulham.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Within 8 minutes, I believe. Yeah, and hat trick. She's flying ever since she's gone to London City. Shani's doing incredible things. She really, really is. Now, speaking of hat tricks, Emma, I'll come to you for this one. Rachel Daly denied a hat trick by 3 offside flags again and again and again. Now, I know Emily, if Emily's still watching the chat, she said from a certain viewpoint didn't actually look offside. Emma, what was the consensus in the ground? Were they offside?
Well, I had a massive post-its at Bescott. I always put myself in the middle of the post, which is a bit stupid if you ask me. But anywho, highlights back this afternoon, and the second one was definitely offside. You could see her running before. I think it was Miri's feet. So she was definitely offside for the first one. The second one. The first one I couldn't quite work out because the angle was really like, it was kind of like they were in the stands but behind her, so I couldn't actually see. So I'm not sure about that first one. But honestly, we were all celebrating in the net.
Yeah.
And then after the first, I'm gonna look at the linesman first before I celebrate. I celebrated and then looked at the linesman, so then I felt defeated. Honestly, I don't think it really changed the atmosphere because the Bristol Rovers fans were just like egging us on and like keeping us going. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, that linesman. Could he not have just like pretended that he didn't see it or something? Like give the poor girl a hat trick. That's all she wanted.
I mean, I think that might go against, all the referee code that they sign up to when they do the job. But yeah, it just...
Most of them are blind. So most of them will call it wrong. So why couldn't he just have let that in?
I love how positive you are tonight. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's one of those though, isn't it? Like the feeling, like you said, the feeling didn't change. It became very much, obviously if it was against, Man City or Chelsea, the feeling might have been a bit different, but it just became okay, try again, and they didn't look like the Villa of Wolves that kind of went, okay, we got one, let's keep it. It was very much, let's keep going, let's keep attacking, let's keep going. Now, Emily said, definitely didn't look it. First one maybe close, but the others, she ran onto the ball from the other side of the defenders. So Emily, in future, we're gonna have you running the line and have that. And can we just say, Bristol Rovers are in the chat. Thank you so much, saying we had an amazing day. Thank you guys so much for the hospitality. Anytime. We really hope we do come up against you guys at some point. We might even have to have a day trip, mightn't we, down to a game, because the team were phenomenal, supporters were phenomenal, and yeah, definitely got some new friends in the Villa fan club. Absolutely,
we love Bristol Rovers.
We do. We absolutely do. I love it. Now, let's have a look. Yeah, so we made some subs, so let's have a look. So we started with Mailing, Patton, Turner, Tomas, Nobbs and Taylor just in front, Leon, Salmon and Daly, and then Gabby Nunes up front, apparently, according to BBC Sport. Then it got to half-time. We actually had some half-time substitutions. Rach didn't get a hat-trick as she went off as Jill Bangs came on, as we've mentioned. And Ebony Salmon and Adrian Leon came off for Kirsty Hansen and Chastity Grant as well. And we also, of course, as we've mentioned, Sabs and Sophia Pua swapped as well. So again, fantastic to see some new faces. And Lindsay, I'll come to you for this one. Chastity and Kirsty, instant impact when they came on. And they almost mirrored each other for their goals, didn't they?
Yeah, it was like a copy and paste exercise, which was kind of quite weird. And I was watching from home, and the commentator actually picked up on it as well. So it was quite, because like normally they miss it, and it was like one's turn provider for the other. And I was just like, it's just great to see the teamwork, and it just shows you the attitude that they've got since, you know, the management change. And we won't go down that because Nick's not here. But that management change and the attitude in the team, in the dressing room, it just goes to show you how selfless that the girls are being, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, and the fact that they, and again, coming on at half time, it was a couple of minutes afterwards. They didn't really need that much time to warm up and kind of settle into those roles straight away.
Wasn't
they were having shots on goal.
Chastity's goal her first touch or something like that of the game?
Something like
Yes,
that.
yeah, it was Kirsty with the assist, wasn't it? And like with her first touch, she found the back of the net. I loved it. And yeah, as Emily's rightly said there, Dree and Ebbs had a couple of good chances as well. Again, we just wanted Dree to score, Ebony to score, and just everyone who was close to that goal. I don't know about anyone else, but I had that belief that like, that they can do it. Like they were getting so close. I do have to say it's been confirmed, guys. It says, come on down. We'll have seats saved for all of you. Yes, we're there. We'll be there with bells on. We'll buy scarves. We'll start swinging them around. Gonna have to teach us some songs though, or we can bring them ourselves.
I'd actually really love that.
I'd love it. Yeah, we'll definitely get something sorted. We'll look at the fixtures, look at the dates.
But when's the next international window?
Well, that's it. Yeah, let's look at dates. Let's look at the calendar and see if it's possible to come down. But yeah, I'd absolutely love that.
I believe the like Women's National League and lower tiers tend to start a couple weeks before the WSL starts.
They do. You are correct. So
tend to. I don't know what's going to happen next season.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on it, won't we? And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Emily's just said there. Thought it was interesting that the sub-wingers, Chastity and Kirsty, then both scored. Highlights the different playing styles a bit, but not in a bad way. No, you're absolutely right. And again, that shows we can actually finally bring depth off the bench, can't we? And they, these connections now exist, that it doesn't have to be a certain starting lineup, because they've got those connections with each other and with different players as well. I'm
surprised we didn't seem to get any Jordan Nobbs shots from outside the box.
Yeah, I would have loved a few of those. Just, make it a bit more FA Cup magic. A few Jordan Nobbs long range.
It looked like she was going to at a few points. Like I saw her go for it and then she carried.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought we were going to have a Jordan, but clearly not.
Do we think? I mean, not.
But yeah, unless it just wasn't.
Yeah, maybe, because it's not as if she's a player that struggles with confidence or anything like that. But maybe again, first game back, maybe she just kind of wanted it definitely in rather than maybe chancing it. But hey, I'm all for the chances in this rate. Now, speaking of chances, Villa had 40 shots. Okay, 40 shots at the weekend, 15 on target. So, yes, we won by 9, but those numbers, guys, we need to close them down. But yeah, what do we think about that? 40 shots, 15 on target. Lindsay, I'll come to you for that one. Kind of, we're getting better, aren't we? But those numbers would like them a bit tighter.
It's something that we've picked up on last season about we just can't be clinical up front. We just don't have. The first season we had Rach Daly, we were absolutely ruthless up front. We were scoring the goals, we were getting them in. And after that, we just seem to have just peaked too soon, and we just can't be ruthless up front. Like, I don't know what's going on. We're getting the chances, we're getting the ball up there, which is better than last season where we weren't doing it. But like now, it's like we just can't hit it on target, and it's just so frustrating as a fan to watch. And it's not that I wanted a bigger scoreline, because I think the scoreline was big enough, but it's just really frustrating to watch when I know that we can do better, and I don't know how to put that into words, but yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Those 15 on target. I think there were 4 that hit the woodwork. Are those included in that? Are those classed as on
Let me
target?
get those up for you, Tracy. With the
I
exact
do
answer.
believe that
Um,
ones that hit the woodwork don't count as on target.
They don't.
So we've got 40 shots, 15 on target, 19 off, 6 were blocked, 4 hit the woodwork, and 4 offside. So let's do some math, shall we? So 15. So that'd be 9. No, so woodwork don't count as on target. Because 15, take away 6, and then 9 went in.
They are close. You
Yep.
can't get closer than hitting the woodwork, can you? Apart from going in goal, obviously. But, yeah. Can we just include that? Can we just add those on? So 19 on target.
Yeah. I know, yeah. Because
still less than half.
Yeah.
Just less than half. But in comparison, though, Rovers had 2 shots, both on target. And again, those 2, if it wasn't for Sophia Pua being so on it and being so quick, might have been different story, mightn't it? And different scoreline. But yeah, no, they had some really good chances. And then Miri just booting it out the way. That second one, like, no, you're not having it. Not coming near this goal. I do want to have a think for me, please. Who was your player of the match? Because Emily's gone for Jordan. Said dictating everything, especially with Rachel in the first half too. Does anyone have a player of the match that they want to share, that they were impressed with?
Well, there was a voting.
With Jordan.
Oh, so Emma's gone for Jordan. Tracy, who were you going to say?
I was just going to say there was a voting link that was put out by by Villa Women, wasn't there? And I voted for Sophia.
Oh,
So I would say Sophia.
Yeah, let's have a look at those results then. Sophie, who was your
No
player?
I honestly, I think everyone put in a shift. Like, I can't. That's a real cop-out answer, isn't it? I can't think of any one player that really stood out. Yeah. Like,
I was just really impressed with Sophia's saves. Those 2 in particular saves, I thought they were really good.
I agree that everybody put in a really good shift, and like Sophia deserves all the accolades that she gets. I think she's a fantastic goalkeeper, but
yeah,
I do have a soft spot for Mary. I see how hard she tries. She tries to be in the middle of everything, and once again, she was a solid performer at the weekend.
You love a trier, don't you, Gaz?
Sorry?
Because you love a trier, don't you?
I do. God loves a trier.
She does, yeah. Just want to say with Jill, of course, coming back, it was 191 days in the making. So yeah, it's been a long time for her to come back and look that confident. I'm just so impressed. So I think, again, all of them, everyone put a shift in. But I do think, yeah, Miri didn't stop, did she? But can we give it to all of them? Everyone, you were the team of the match. That's what we can do. But I think Paola should just win everything for just being a wonderful ray of sunshine. That's where mine's going to come from. Hey, Tracy, Emily's picked up on it. Nice scarves and background. We do.
Thanks, Em.
We said previously, Tracy's put us to shame tonight with her background because it's very, very Villa, which we love. And I said I'm going to have shelves soon, so behind me I can actually put things up again, rather than on my stack of textbooks as they currently are now. Right, so let's have a look. I did shout out earlier, but I'm going to do it again. Rovers goalkeeper George Hunt had a fantastic game, and they were voted player of the match too. But yeah, they never looked out of it, did they? They looked like they were fighting for the whole time. Has anyone got any other points about the match? Any other favourite moments they want to talk about? Any other highlights before we move on? No. Have we covered
it?
What? Sophie, you haven't got anything else? No. Oh. Everyone, clip this up. Sophie doesn't have anything else.
Gonna check the comments, Emily, mate.
I was going to say, yeah, Emily, I'm waiting for the, and just one more thing to go on. Now, of course, so that was the FA Cup roundup. It was a fantastic weekend overall, actually. I did have all the scores up that I was gonna show, but what I wanted to do next, before we go on to some of the latest news, of course, we've got a game this weekend, haven't we? We are away to Everton. And just to show you, this is what the league looks like so far. I want all of us on. There we go. So at the moment, we need where are we? So we are 7th, 9 points. Okay, there are 3 of us on 9 points at the moment. Us, Liverpool, and Everton. So really, if one of us wins, we're gonna leapfrog over the top and get into 6th. Obviously, if Spurs don't beat Leicester. So yeah, how are we feeling about where we currently are in the league? Sophie, what do you reckon? It's a pivotal game this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, and with the business Everton's been doing, I'm actually kind of nervous about it. Not gonna lie.
Well, yes. Brian Sorensen's found the pot of money, hasn't he? All the signings he's bringing in. So in fact, for a moment, let's just come back. Yeah. So let's talk about that then, Sophie. The players he's bringing in. Ultimately, this game could have been quite even. We probably could have got 3 points before this window. What are your thoughts and feelings now?
I think we've still got a really strong team. Less keen on the fact that we still don't have a manager or a clear plan for the second half of the season without a manager. So that's being communicated to the fans at least. They may have a plan back of house that the players know about. And Everton their sale went through, so now they can spend money. So they have been bringing in much needed reinforcements. They've brought in a mixture, I think, of experience and then youth on loan. So this is probably, I don't know. It would have been nice if their game hadn't been called off at the weekend. It would have been nice to see how they were shaping up.
Get a
obviously
little
we
preview.
haven't had a chance to see what they're doing. Sorry, I thought my cat was about to come and share his opinions, but he's still avoiding coming too close to me in case I try and take him back to the vets. So,
oh bless him. As long as he's okay, that's the main thing. Tracy, how are you feeling ahead of this weekend? Is it a bit more nervy now, the business that they've been doing?
No, not really. We
No.
I'm feeling pretty confident. Our girls look good. Our girls look confident. We're on a bit of a winning streak. I'm not too worried about not having a permanent manager. Our interim manager seems to be doing a pretty good job. The girls seem happy. We've beat Everton the last 2 times we played them. We're going to win.
We're going to win. We're going to get 3
I'm
points.
feeling confident. And apparently it's not going to rain. And the last 2 times that we've played away at Everton, we've got absolutely drenched. So, apparently it's not going to rain. So all is good.
Sunshine on Merseyside. Yeah, fantastic. Lindsay, what are your thoughts ahead of the weekend? Do you think we can still do it? Can still get the 3 points?
Absolutely. We've got a lot of confidence. And I think that game against West Ham was just like a turning point in our season. With the game against Bristol, we can just keep that momentum going, keep the dressing room going, then I can't see why we can't go and take points, because we've been competitive all season and we've just dropped points in really silly areas. So I know that we can be competitive and we can climb up the table.
Yeah. Oh, I love all the positivity, because we can. Everton are the ones that, again, they're around us. We should be beating them, shouldn't we? Go on, Sophie.
They beat Man City just before Christmas though as well, so they'll probably have their tails up as well.
And that's the thing. I mean, even for Everton, I think they've always had a fight about them, haven't they? And now, with this investment and backing from the club, we've seen how much of a difference that makes. So I reckon they'll be up for a fight at the weekend. I think it's going to be pretty good. Gary, I was just going to ask you. We've mentioned it briefly a couple of times. Do you reckon we will see a manager in this window, or will they, again, a bit similar to Arsenal, they'll be waiting for the right person rather than just shove anyone in?
I don't think they're going to rush. There's not many options there at the minute. And currently, we're not broke. So why would you fix us?
Good point.
Since Roberts departed, nobody could fault what Sean's been doing. Same again at Arsenal. Nobody can fault what's going on there. The interim managers are certainly putting up a strong case for themselves in the season, and with very little options. Where do you turn? Where do you go? Obviously people that spoke about Casey, but now she's taken on an international role, and I think some people were kind of hoping Carlette come back, but again, she's taken an international role. So
yeah, talk about
the options are just going down and down and down. So no, I don't think we're going to see a manager before the end of the season, unless somebody that we can't rule out does become available between now and then. But no, don't fix what's not broke.
And that's the thing, because again, morale seems to be much better under Sean Gorter taking that interim. So yeah, like you said, they're doing well. So what's the point? And as Emily rightly says, don't kind of rock the boat mid-season when again there's so much to play for. And if I just bring this up again, there's hardly anything in it between 7th and 12th. Like there are 4 points between mid and bottom. Like
we're 2 points off being in the top half of the table as well.
There we go. There's the optimism. I love that. If we just keep winning from here on in for the rest of the season, done. Champions League sorted.
I heard through the social media grapevine that the Brighton manager is pretty confident they could possibly finish top 4. So
Really?
they've got lofty ambitions. To be fair, they're only 4 points behind United and Arsenal.
Yeah. I do think, I know we've all talked about this, kind of United are a strange team, aren't they? Because they're not exactly playing well, but they're still getting results, annoyingly. So yeah, it could be a season where, Brighton do manage to get it, and to actually get up there. So very tight-ish at the top, especially those top 4 or 5 places, and then again it's that fight for 6th, and ultimately get out the relegation zone. So yeah, Emily saying, thank God it's not Mark Parsons either. He's gone to be sporting director at Angel City. Yes, absolutely. And of course, Jonas Eideval's gone to the NWSL as well. He's gone to San Diego Waves, I believe. The less we say about that, the better. So the only people really would be Casey Stoney, who would have been a dream, but of course she's taken the Canadian job, which perfect appointment for Canada after everything they've been through. And of course, ex-Villa manager Carla Ward, as Gary briefly mentioned, has just been announced. It was yesterday, wasn't it? As she's taken on the Irish women's national team. And again, what a fantastic matchup. Lindsay, she's gonna do good things for that team, isn't she? Like, she's the right kind of person.
Yeah, I was talking to quite a few of my Irish friends when it was announced about this, and I was just saying it's the perfect time and the perfect person for that team, with the place that they are in their development, with the resources they've got, with the attitude they've got, with everything that they've been through. Like, it's just the perfect match. It's just a match made in heaven. I know that Carla's going to put her stamp on it, but it's going to be in a really friendly, warm dynamic, and it's just really going to help them thrive. So I can't wait to see what she does with Ireland. And my friends are so excited they're like, oh my God, it's Carla Ward. Oh my God, it's Carla Ward. And they're so buzzing for it. And I'm like, she's going to look after you guys. Like, I don't expect to win the World Cup anytime soon, but like, you know, there's not enough funding for you guys, but you know, you're going to be fantastic. England are obviously going to win the World Cup. So, you know, come on.
Oh, obviously,
We'll
we've got
win the Euros first.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if we can retain that title, that'd be great. Yeah, she said in her interview, I don't know if anyone else saw it, you know, she's always been renowned for being great with the fans, and obviously we know that. So she's looking forward to just kind of being in that environment, and she very much said, you know, her personality matches the team, and of course she's managed Russia before, so you know that's a tick. Can do, can control. So obviously there's a bit of controversy and some rumors about Russia at the minute, isn't there? So it'll be interesting to see if she is part of Carla's plans.
I'm really pleased that Carla's got the Ireland job. I think when she said she was looking to get back into management, I was really hoping she'd go to either Scotland or Ireland, who are both in need of managers and both fairly local. And I just didn't want to come to a WSL team because I was like, I don't want to have to like, at least when it's an international team, there's no like, we don't have to face her.
Yeah, there's no competition there. Yeah, absolutely. I think it would have hurt a lot if she gone to another WSL club. But yeah, you're right. She's you know, if no one else, if she didn't, you know, who else would have taken it up? Because I think she's suited for it. Because she talked a lot about her work-life balance, didn't she? Making sure she's getting the majority of family time. And I suppose internationally, a lot of it is going to be looking at kind of players like throughout the year, won't it? Like a lot of scouting, that kind of thing behind the scenes, and then just for those windows actually being with the squad and things like that. So yes, we wish her all the best, of course. Fantastic appointment.
But Patsy must have been happy to see that announcement. You know, obviously she's just broke into the Ireland team and so on.
Yeah.
And to have a different manager to try and impress might have been quite daunting for players that are just into the squad. But knowing the Carla's coming in, you know, she'll still have to fight for a place in the team, of course, but at least it's a manager that knows what she's capable of doing as well.
Yeah, and hopefully the ones that do know her kind of put everyone else at ease and be like, look, we're in good hands. We're definitely in good, safe hands here. So yeah, we wish her all the best. Now, the final thing we want to talk about before we finish this evening, there was a news article. Sophie, I know you wanted to say a few things about this. The rumor on the old rumor mill is that they are looking to expand the WSL at some point to include Celtic and Rangers. Now, obviously, not English teams, but yeah, it just seemed a very, very odd thing to do when really, if you look at the table, Celtic and Rangers, they're not consistently at the top. And surely if we're going off historical achievements, Glasgow City need to be in that conversation as well. So, Sophie, what were your thoughts? And ultimately, is it about the brand? Is it about the money, do you think?
I really don't like the idea. No. I think it'll be really detrimental to the Scottish League. And also, imagine having to go from Glasgow to Brighton. Like...
Yeah, they haven't thought about the fans at all, have they?
Like, and it also kind of just feels like Glasgow and Rangers just throwing their big boy weight around again. Like, they're like, we want to be, they do it in the men's game, they want to be part, there's regular conversations about them wanting to be part of the Premier League. I forgot what it was called for a second then. I was like, what's the men's WSL called?
Men's football, what?
Sometimes I do forget that as well. But no, like, so my stepdad was a diehard Celtic fan, like absolutely through and through. Like, blue was not allowed in the household at all. And sort of that's rubbed off a little bit. So I'm like, I don't want Celtic in the same league as Villa. Like,
no, I've seen that.
But yeah, I'm just, and if we do expand, the WSL does expand, I'd rather it expanded out into the championship. Like, I would like there to be more teams in the WSL.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on, the dog's trying.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a water bottle he's going to destroy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get that off him. Talk amongst yourselves. A clause league, because that was also in the conversation as well. What will that do not only to our football, but of course to Scottish football as well? Handing over, I'll be back in 30 seconds.
I think it's a stupid
Can
idea.
Yeah. League thing as well. Like, we were having this conversation on the pod last night because I was watching, and the relegation and promotion, sorry, the word went then, really like makes the competition in a way, because without the relegation you've got nothing to fight for, so having a closed league, yeah, you won the league, but if you come bottom of the league, you're just like, well, we came bottom of the league, but there was no consequence to that, really. Like, we played awful all season, but there was no consequence. So I feel like it's just going to take the competition away from it. But
I agree with you, Emma, on the closed league. I think there's too many teams already in the WSL that are just happy not being the worst team in the league and staying up. And I think if there was no relegation at all, I think they'd just coast. There'd be no
fight for, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
I'd
like there to be 2 relegation spots. I'd like more teams and more relegation spots.
We were talking on the Wednesday pod about, even if for a season or two, having 2 promotion spots from the Championship and keeping the 1 relegation spot in the WSL for the time being. So then one of the teams actually would survive. Only one would actually go down. So then they've got the time to actually establish themselves as a WSL side, get, the year experience, because it can't even be helpful to be yo-yoing back and forward, can it? Because standards are always shifting, playing styles are shifting, and it can't be good for development, can it? So yeah, I don't agree at all, because they said very, very early talk, so it's probably been mentioned once in a conversation, but if the Scottish leagues do want to leave, they've got to give 2 clear seasons notice. So even if it was to happen, it's not going to happen for quite a few years. So at least, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So that's good. But yeah, do we think the WSL should expand? Because there's a couple of championship sides that could probably compete now.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
think so.
I'd like it too.
I'd like to see more games.
Ultimately, it's a competitive game. Football is a competitive sport. A closed league is going to take the competition away, because you will get teams that don't invest as much as others, and they're probably going to invest even less if they know that they're never going to be relegated. Whereas if you increase the size of the league, you have teams in the championship that, the top of that division's actually quite competitive at the minute. And there's probably 2 or 3 of those teams that you could bring up into the WSL now. And they would give teams, a match that would stand up and they would be counted. So I think, if anything, that's what you want to do. Like you said, bring up 1 or 2 teams. If it's a case of restructuring the leagues, because they've done that in the men's sport a while ago, where they restructured the leagues. So you might find, all right, there might be a few less divisions, and Bristol could find themselves, instead of playing a tier 4, they're maybe moved up to tier 3 because they make a couple of less leagues. But it's going to make it more competitive, because there's more in the WSL, there's more at stake, and there's maybe more than 1 team going down if you bring up enough teams. The Glasgow teams wanting to come down is wrong. Even the travel distance. It's one thing whenever you see in the men's game that Wrexham play in the English league, even though they're on wheels, but they're bang on the border. They're right beside Liverpool and Manchester, and that's not ridiculous. But go on an 8-hour drive up the road to Glasgow.
No, because
let's give that a miss.
Yeah, because from a fan perspective, I know we touched upon it before. I had to, wrestle the bottle off the dog. But could you imagine there would only be 2 a home and away fixture for each team that would actually be in the same country. For every other fixture, they would be traveling 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours to get to their away matches. Like, because Tracy obviously doing the travel for the fan club, we leave early enough anyway, like on a morning, some games, don't we? So it would have to be like a proper night before job, wouldn't it? To get, imagine like a 12 o'clock kickoff. It wouldn't be possible the same day, would it?
I mean, for their fans as well, that's a long journey, like almost every game that you play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Wherever it is, especially like, was it Sophie saying, or whoever it was that said, you know, travelling from Glasgow down to Brighton, that's
it's just, and for a lot of
journey
people,
and a half, isn't it?
Feasible, is it? Like,
no, it's
so
not.
expensive, so expensive. So hopefully those plans do not come into fruition. But if anything, would quite like the league to expand, to make it more competitive, to have more fixtures, and just, again, if we're going to develop, we need to develop our league, our players. If they want to do like a Scottish English Cup, that could be quite cool. But yeah, not
I
as
think it'd be fun to do like more friendlies with Scottish teams rather than flying to Australia to do them.
It would make more sense, wouldn't it? I quite like that, actually. That'd be quite good. Like into club, into league.
So I'm sure the Scottish league starts a good like 4 weeks before the English one does.
See, it could work, couldn't it? It could work indeed.
I think the only problem with Scotland is there's no time of the year that could be classed as warm weather training.
I'm sure
I once got a sunburn at the Edinburgh show.
I love it. But again, it's making the right decisions, isn't it? So not just kind of money making ones, but actually ones that are going to improve the game, and just doing it the right way. So if there are looking for people to be on the advisory board, we're available. If anyone wants to reach out. Now, the last thing,
slightly cynical part of me that's like, maybe they've floated the idea to get the fan opinion, which I think so far has been like, that's a silly idea, go away. Yeah, and also I think the Scottish FA would have to approve it, and they're pretty, I think the men's teams have tried to do it before, and the Scottish FA are like, absolutely not. Like,
yeah, they're really adamant that it's not going to happen. So good.
If they're doing it for money, it's not going to work, because you're going to lose half your fan base because they're not going to travel.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. Go on then.
Right. With not so long ago, the men's teams across Europe and England and Scotland were going to break away and form their own specialist league where no one would get relegated. They would just play themselves, and it would be superior to the existing leagues and everything. And there was big furore about it, and went all legal, and we went all nasty and everything, and nothing came of it. It's almost like they're trying to do the same thing here. Yeah. And if they do that, it's going to send the game so far backwards with like what we've already mentioned about lack of.
I don't think anything's going to come of it, to be honest. I think somebody's just come up with the idea, probably part of their performance management. They've got to come up with some kind of idea to tick one of their performance management boxes. They've come up with this idea, and it's not going to happen. I don't think it'll happen. It's a ridiculous idea.
I love the fact.
Happened in the men's game, though, UEFA banned it. So any team that went and created this Super League, they wouldn't be allowed to play in the Champions League or any of the Europa Cup or like the World Championships or anything like that. Anything that went to that league were really losing where their big revenue is. They were then just going to depend on playing each other rather than actually having the big sponsorships and everything else that do get pumped into the Champions League and everything else in the men's sport. So, they were losing the competitiveness. And UEFA basically says that you do that, forget about it, and you've no way back.
Yeah, I like Trish said. I doubt it's gonna. It just doesn't make any sense, does it, for it to happen? Again, but I do love the idea that it's someone's like either work experience or part of their performance management to come up with a new initiative. That
it's a map, isn't it? someone that doesn't know how to use a map or doesn't understand infrastructure is just going, oh, that'd be a great idea. We'll do that.
In fact, let's reach out to, the Australian Air League. That's only a few hours on a plane, right?
Also, I don't know if anyone's mentioned it, the absolute disrespect to Glasgow City. Like,
yes,
if anyone deserves to come into the WSL, it's Glasgow City.
100%. They've got, again, I think we were talking about it last night for anyone who watches the Wednesday show. Glasgow City have got more trophies than, was it Celtic and Rangers combined? And you just think, if anything, if this truly was, a historical, proper football like heritage moment, it'd be Glasgow City. It wouldn't be the other two. So we know.
I mean, Glasgow City had a women's team long before Celtic and Rangers decided to actually support their women's teams and jump on the bandwagon of women's football.
Yeah, I do. It just shows you. But fingers crossed that doesn't work. Right then, the last thing I'm going to ask everyone before we go are for some predictions for the weekend. Now, we've all kind of said, we should be able to get a win, but I want you to be more specific, please. I would like some score lines. So, Lindsay, come to you first. What do you think? What's the score going to be?
I'm stuck between 2-1 and 3-1 to us.
Let's go 3-1.
Okay.
Be positive. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 3-1. Gary, what are you thinking?
I was thinking 3-1. Obviously Everton didn't play last week, but with the Christmas break and everything else, I'm not quite sure that's going to benefit them, because what happens on the training ground and what happens on the pitch are two different things. They might have brought a few new players in, but they haven't had any competitive games in at least a month. And I think the fact that we've just played in the cup, we've kept our momentum, we had a good scoreline, the girls are feeling good. I think we're going for a 3-1 win.
That would be incredible. Emma, what are you thinking?
Well, it's my birthday on Saturday, so if we do anything less than win, I won't go into a game ever again.
Villa, you heard it here first. We've got a negative fan if things don't work out.
No, I'm thinking similar to Gary. We've got a momentum going. The whole vibe around the team's really positive at the moment. So hopefully we can have a win. I always go 2-1. I always go safe.
2-1 is like the standard scoreline in the WSL for Villa.
It
2-1.
is, yeah.
It is.
You can't think of a score, so 2-1.
I'm going to go 3-1.
Oh.
Sorry, I got distracted by a
question and then show me a baby.
Tracy, what was your prediction? What? Tracy, what
Pray
did you
you distracted with all the cuteness.
Oh, my one's back to front.
Oh, no. Right, so we've got 3-1s, we've got 4-1s. Oh, you've lost a sock. Where's your sock? Oh,
Freya, what's the baby's name again?
Torvi.
Toby. Oh, bless. She's gorgeous. Hi, Toby.
You say hello?
Hi, Toby. Oh.
She's been with Georgie for that many hours. She's like, what's going on? Who are you?
Oh.
How long before you get her coming to games, Freya?
Well, I said to Georgie, I was like, so what's the plan? What can we do? I know. Do you want to come to a football game?
You got to wait at least like 3 to 4 months till she's got a proper immune system built up.
I know, yeah, because obviously she hasn't had any vaccinations or anything yet because she's still too little. But yeah.
Oh, she's gorgeous, Freya.
Okay. Probably
Get some little carrot and blue ear defenders.
Yeah, get carrot and blue ear defenders. Should we get you some? Should we get you some? Who was I asking? I've completely forgot now. Sophie, have I asked you yet? Predictions?
I think I'm going 2-1. Nice and boring. Nice and safe.
2-1. It's hard, isn't it? Because, like you said, they've brought some new players in, but they, they haven't had really the chance to gel and work together yet, have they? So, so who knows? I'd love a 3-1. 3-1 would be fantastic. So Villa players, if you're watching this, 3-1 or nothing. Emma's
You know what? It'd be
done.
really nice to get a clean sheet. I think we've had like one all season.
Yeah, should we get a clean sheet? Let's change it to 3-0, shall we?
Oh, clean
Like
sheet on my birthday.
Emily's prediction.
Yeah, go on.
2-0 early goal, super nervy 90 minutes, and then a late second.
No, Emily.
Which seems
no.
exactly what Villa would do.
Oh, that's very Villa.
No.
That's very Villa.
No.
No.
No heart attacks.
But it'll keep people watching.
I'll only be turning 22.
Do you just
Stop
think you're
showing
turning
off, Emily.
22?
Emma.
For the new fellas, they had 3-0 up in 8 minutes. Everton aren't going to know what hit them.
Oh,
Yeah,
could you imagine?
be so good. Yeah, if we can have another performance like we did against Bristol again, that would be phenomenal. Do you think we're going to do it? Are we going to do it?
Yay!
Maybe. She looks terrified. She's like, what is this? 4-1. Yeah, let's do 4-1. Let's push standards. Let's do it.
No,
4-0, why not? Push it all the way out.
Okay, 4-0. Sorry.
4-0 Jordan Banger.
Yes.
Yes, Jordan. Yeah, Jordan knows the banger. Yeah.
Yes, because we didn't get one.
Yeah, let's do it. Right. So we're manifesting now. So in our 4-0 super score, so Jordan's getting a cracker. Is anyone getting a hat trick? Or are we doing a brace?
No, I think Nunes and Daly are sharing goals.
Yeah, I see that.
I think Taylor's going to get her first goal.
Yeah, that would be perfect, wouldn't it?
Oh, could you
Just
It'd be nice for Jill to get another one.
Justice for Miri. Yeah, Jill. Do we think Jill's going to be another maybe second half sub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly to get her nuts up.
A minute up. She is. I wish you could see her from this angle. She's so like, yeah. No, I think it'll work. Won't it? It'll work. So thank you so much to everyone who's been watching tonight, by the way, including the official Bristol Rovers women account, new best friends of the pod. If you don't know, however, let's just get this up right now, shall we? Oh, I'm a bit of a delay. There we go. Now, we are a combination of the Hull 15 Yards, which me and Lindsay co-founded, and the Aston Villa Women Fan Club as well. Now, of course, you can find us across all socials. So please do give us a follow, a like, a share, a subscribe, because we're nearly at 70 subscribers on YouTube, guys. We're nearly there. 69, which we could make lots of jokes about, but we won't. So just even if one person here right now who is listening and watching goes and clicks the subscribe button on YouTube, would absolutely love it. Thank you so much. So we're a combination of either the Hull 15 Yards or the AVW_fan club on TikTok, where we do match day vlogs, we do interviews, reports, specials, everything you can think of. On Instagram, again, all three of us have got an account, so do check us out. You can find it with a link from from one of us. But part of the Pride Pod is where all of our main Villa stuff goes. And again, on Twitter, X/ and on Blue Sky, we've got a brand new account as well. And I keep saying I will upload the new graphic, which I will. I'm going to do it exactly as we end this stream. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But please come and do say hello. We absolutely love building our community up. Hello. I know, I will stop talking in a minute, I promise. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to this lovely main screen. And the only thing left to say is a thank you to everyone. And of course, a massive thank you to Kaz, who joined us earlier from And You Can. The baby's distracted me. I will get her podcast. Hang on. Because I don't want to get the name wrong because there's two of them. Okay, so Kaz is part of the Gas Cast podcast. So if you do want to find out more about Bristol Rovers women, please do so. I also got in contact with another Bristol Rovers podcast as well, who said they would have loved to come on, but saw the message too late. So won't hold it against them. And they're called the Talking Gas podcast as well, if you do want to find out more. And of course, we'll share everything, updates on social media. So Tracy, thank you so much. It was lovely to see you. I know you've got the fan club handle in your name there. Where can people find the fan club on socials, please?
Yeah, so you can find us, as you've mentioned, on Facebook. That's our main platform. Lots of things going on there. Everything goes on Facebook. But you can also find us on Instagram, on Blue Sky, and what's the other one?
TikTok?
TikTok. Yes, TikTok and TikTok as well.
Yeah, I do have to say, all of the latest TikToks I've put up on the page are getting like 2,000-3,000 views. So again, thank you to everyone who's kind of watching.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's been phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Gary,
Can I also just say very, very quickly before you go on, sorry, coming up this week, prior to the match at Villa Park on the 25th, I'm going to start it on Monday. We've got another signed Villa shirt that has been donated by Aston Villa themselves. It's an away shirt, the white away shirt, that's been signed by the whole Villa women team. We're doing another bonus ball competition, and it's £10 a number, and you have the opportunity to win a signed Villa women's shirt.
Can't wait. Put me down for 10 ones, because I missed out on the last one. Need to win it. Need to win it at some point. Gary, it was lovely to see you. Thank you. I can see your handle in there as well. If people would like to find more of you, where can they find you?
Here we go again. 1111. You'll find me over on Instagram. That's sort of, I'm quiet, but I share a few things whenever it comes to match days and what's going on with the pod.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much. Sophie, thank you very much. I don't know if you want people to find you. I don't know if
No, not really. I quite like
wonderful. That's fine.
That's a mystery.
Exactly.
No, on people's Instagrams and Twitters, I'm sure.
On the Instagrams and the Twitters. Emma, thank you so much again to you and Joel Bear. Would you like anyone to find you on socials?
I mean, yeah. I don't know why I said it like that.
Bless you. That's what Toby thinks of your socials.
Stop distracting me.
It's a cute baby sneeze. Oh, have you got another one? Oh.
_ Emma HW _ on Instagram. I think my Twitter might be the same. Not sure. Type it in, you'll find out.
A game of chance. And of course, Lindsay, you've got our lovely name in your handle. What is it again, please?
The whole 115 yards. So if you send us any messages, you're likely to get the lovely Freya replying, because I'm socially retarded.
Dude, you were doing so well. We don't need that word.
You'll get a lovely Freya. So make sure you do that. But if you've got any abuse, then just mark it for me and I'll pick it up.
Yes. And just to clarify, Lindsay won't be returning to the pod for her choice of language. But yeah, no. So it is on socials. It will be me that deals with it. And also we've got the whole 115yards.com, our website, which has all of our match reports, if we've got any interviews, latest news and things like that. So please do give us a shout. Yes. Toby's now gone to sleep, clearly, without boring. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you everyone for watching, listening, everything, and we absolutely love it, and we'll be back again next